Hello, welcome to our first lesson of Unit 3. This unit we're going to be talking about multiplying and dividing decimals, multiplying and dividing by powers of 10. But for today we're going to start off talking about multiplying decimals and whole numbers. Now we reviewed last week a little bit about multiplying traditionally, and we're just going to continue on with that and learn what to do when we add a decimal point in there. So one thing I want you to notice, when multiplying decimals and whole numbers, the number of decimal places in the product, so that's the answer, has to be the exact same number of decimal places that were used in the problem itself. So for example, if we have 0.006 times 7, we need to look here and notice, I'm going to change my color here quick, that in the problem I have 1, 2, 3 decimal places up here, right? I don't have anything here. I have 3 up here. That means in my answer, I need to also have 3 places after the decimal. So that tells me that my decimal is going to go right there. So my answer would be 0.042. So I have the exact same number of place values to the right of the decimal up here as I do in my answer. So that's our key concept for today. So let's figure it out here. Where is this decimal point going to go? Well, like we just learned, we need to have the same amount up here that we have in our answer. So let's count it out. Here's my decimal point. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers, 4 place values to the right of the decimal point. So that means I need to have 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers to the right of my decimal point here. I only have 3 numbers, so that means I need to add a 0 in here, and then I get my decimal point. So my answer is 0.0112. Let's try this one. 3.725 times 23. I have 1, 2, 3 up here in my problem. That means I need to have 1, 2, 3 down here in my answer. So I need to put my decimal point right there. Remember that when we're going down here, we need to start from the right and move to the left to make sure that we have 3 places after the decimal point. So let's keep moving on. So steps to multiplying decimals and whole numbers. The first thing we're going to do is forget about that decimal point. I'm going to multiply them like they're normal, like it was instead of 1.505 times 8, I'm going to pretend it's 1,505 times 8. So I would take 8 times 5 and get 40, put the 0 down and the 4 up. 8 times 0 is 0 plus 4 gives me my 4. 8 times 5 again is 40, so my 0 goes down and my 4 would go up. 8 times 1 is 8, plus that 4 gives me 12. So when I multiply this traditionally, I get 12,040. Now, I need to do what we've already learned in the first 2 slides here. I need to count the number of place values to the right that are up here in my problem. I've got 1, 2, 3. So that means my answer needs to have 1, 2, 3 numbers to the right as well. So my decimal point is going to go in there. So the first step is to multiply like normal, like there aren't any decimal points. The second step is to count the number of place values to the right of the decimal up in your problem and make sure that your answer has the exact same amount. All right, so let's try this example. We have 0.32 times 55. So I'm going to pretend that it's just 32 times 55. I take 5 times 2 and I get 10. So I put the 0 down and I carry the 1. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 1 is 16. So now I'm done with this 5. I'm going to move over to this one. That means I've got to put a 0 in this place. 5 times 2 is 10 again, so I'm going to put my 0 down and my 1 up. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 1 is 16. Remember to try and keep your columns nice and neat. We can go ahead and add up our columns. 0 plus 0 is 0. 6 plus 0 is 6. 1 plus 6 is 7. 1 plus nothing is 1. So I get 1760. Now for step 2, listen to me. For step 2, I've got 2 places to the right of my decimal up here. That means I need 2 places to the right of my decimal down here. So my answer is 17.60, or if you just put 17.6, that's fine. I want you to try number 3, so go ahead and pause it if you'd like. All right, we multiply it out like normal, so I get a 3, a 4, a 0, a 6, and a 3. Then I'm done with that set of ones. I need to move in. So again, I've got a 3, a 4, a 0, a 6, and a 3. When I add them up, I get 3, 7, 4, 6, 9, and 3. Hopefully that's what you got as well. So now I move on to step 2. I come up here and I count. Here's my decimal point. I have 1, 2, 3. So I need to go 1, 2, 3 and put my decimal point. So my answer is 396.473. Good job, guys. One thing we need to remember, and I want you to make sure you get this in your notes, when we're multiplying, we do not need to line up the decimals before we start to multiply. In adding and subtracting, we had to line up those decimals and bring it straight down. In multiplying, we do not have to do that anymore. So in multiplication, we just pretend they're whole numbers and only add the decimal at the end. So now I want you to go ahead and try these 2 problems, and we'll talk about it tomorrow in class. Have a great night. See you later.